Hey everyone, so I'm continuing to work on these ETF videos, but I came across something while I was kind of doing editing that I thought you guys would be really interested in. Apparently North America's first Bitcoin ETF came out this week, and there's another one coming out this Tuesday. So I'm going to cover those in this video. They're two Canadian fund managers, which is kind of cool. But there's certainly a race between a lot of fund managers in the States, and here to get stuff like this out, ETFs offer some easier access to some of these things, especially here in Canada. And it's probably something a lot of you might be wondering about or probably heard about, so I'm gonna make this a video about it really quickly. Now, I don't own any of this ETF at the time of recording this video. I'm certainly interested because I was poking around trying to see if I should open a Wealthsimple account to buy some Bitcoin. I won't get into too much what Bitcoin is. All you really need to know is that it's the leader of a lot of these online or cryptocurrencies that you've probably heard of that are supposedly very secure and very popular. I would say very popular among folks my age and younger. Now, a currency isn't very valuable unless you can obviously use it to buy things, and this isn't tied to any specific country's currency. However, some vendors are starting to let people use Bitcoin to buy items, and then the most recent news was Elon Musk announced or says he wants to be able to allow people to use Bitcoin to buy Teslas. So once you can actually buy something with a currency is when it's really valuable. But I've been finding that a lot of people are really believing in this, and the price of Bitcoin has seemed, over COVID especially, to be just going up and up and up. So in case you're interested, I'm just featuring these two funds for you guys to research. All the links for my sources are in the description of the video, so you guys can go and definitely read about them before you jump in. But without further ado, let's just jump into these brochures. So the first one is by this company called Purpose. That's the fund manager. It's called the Purpose Bitcoin ETF. It says world's first, but I'm pretty sure we have Europe with a couple Bitcoin trackers ETFs. So I don't know about that. Here at the top, and this little symbol of diversification kind of says that it's benefit from diversification. Well, I think that means like adding this to your portfolio among other things to be more diversified, because this fund is not diversified. It's all in Bitcoin, so I wouldn't call it diversified. Security, we'll get to that in a second here. Convenience and all this eligibility stuff. It's certainly, yes, a high risk account or ETF. Now on the side here are the tickers, so btcc.b and btcc.u. One is for Canadian dollars and one is in US dollars. If you want it Canadian hedged, you want the .b. And Canadian hedged means that you'll just take away any fluctuations of the US dollar, because what these ETFs will do will take your money, they normally will convert it to US dollars and use those US dollars to buy Bitcoin. So to take away the variability of that currency conversion from Canadian to US dollars, I would probably be most interested in the .b, the Canadian hedged. Management fees are the same across both of them. They're both 1%. And what that means is if you put in $1,000 and it's valued at $1,000, like your ETF is gonna be costing you $10 in fees. If that fund grows to $10,000, then you're paying $100 in fees. So this is kind of high for ETFs, especially if you compare it to index funds. Index funds will be like 0.1 or 0.05 or something. So this is quite high, but it's still pretty low, like lower than a bank mutual fund. So that's just because this is a new product. Bitcoin is very volatile, so that's why you'll see a high management fee here. How it works, so it just says here, like the investor buys the ETF. This is actually the big advantage, is that with an ETF, you can buy it in your TFSA or your RRSP, which, for example, Wealthsimple, if you open their crypto account, you can't do that. This ETF purchases physical Bitcoin, and then the investor that owns the ETF owns the Bitcoin. And what this fund does is it takes your Bitcoin, it stores it offline or in something they also call cold storage, so it's supposed to be very safe, and it's very straightforward. Now, compared to directly buying Bitcoin, and like this step here is kind of like, they make it seem more complicated than it is, but normally what you would do is you probably have to find another platform that deals with cryptocurrencies, and set up an account, and sometimes you have this option of having a wallet. You don't always have to do it, but the wallet lets you hold the Bitcoin yourself, and then you purchase Bitcoin out of that wallet. So not super complicated. Now here it talks about owning a piece of history. Again, it says world's first. I think it's North America's first. So this chart here actually says it's diversification. It has low correlation to other asset classes. So it's comparing to Canadian equity, US equity, gold, etc. here, and it gives you the ratio of the returns of those asset classes versus Bitcoin. And these numbers are low because, well, if you look at this chart, Bitcoin has done quite well in 2021 and certainly has been beating the market, but that's not a guarantee all the time. So this would make you feel like you need to put everything in Bitcoin, but definitely I wouldn't be doing that because Bitcoin does tend to be volatile. So down here in the fine print, you can see where they get the numbers from, like each fund they're comparing it to. So that's kind of handy as well. So that's the walkthrough of the first brochure. There's another fund manager called Evolve ETFs, and they've come out with their own version of this. So I'm going to very quickly go over their brochure. This one comes out on Tuesday, the 23rd of February. So let's just look at it really quickly. So here you can see it's a little more straightforward. So these are the two tickers. It says them down here as well. EBIT is the unhedged exposure, and then ebit.u is the Canadian hedged exposure. So same thing as what Perform had, and these are some of the same advantages that they list here. Biggest one again being the RSP and TFSA eligible feature. This is not eligible if you just buy Bitcoin. It's got a chart here showing the performance and where it's at when they printed this brochure. And this is the NAV per unit. And I should mention actually, Perform traded around $10, and the NAV per unit for this one is about $20 per share. Again, the performance will be tracked the same. And just like my previous ETF video, these are just like fewer slices of the pizza, I guess, for this one. So you, if you don't know what that means, go back and watch the video. But it's just the starting point. So this one will be twice the price of Perform. It lists the tickers here again. It's on the TSX, the currency, and the management fee is 1%, just like the other one. And this is just more information for you and administrative stuff. So there you go, guys. Those are two options for you to get into Bitcoin through an ETF. Again, the biggest advantage being that you can actually have these in your TFSAs and RRSPs in your tax sheltered accounts and reap the benefits of those. They should track the Bitcoin. Sound like I'm 60. They should track Bitcoin almost exactly. They have that 1% fee that you normally wouldn't have to pay if you just bought straight Bitcoin, but you probably would indirectly by converting currencies or even passing up on that tax sheltered feature of an ETF. So definitely go through, read the prospectus. I leave links to all that stuff in the description for you guys to look at, but I just wanted to bring these to your attention in case you are wondering about them and just curious what they are and how they would work differently from just buying Bitcoin. So hopefully I've answered those questions. I'm going to get back to editing, so until next time, guys, have a great week. Spread the wealth. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.